So I had a somewhat interestingly involved and long conversation with somebody who the topic was really like the issue of personal identity, socially speaking, and where that is important, is not important. And again, saying it's not important doesn't have anything to do with the belief that it is on a larger scale important. But it's also, in my opinion, personal. And what we were discussing was almost what I would call what I chose as the topic, right? Like this difference between identity and identification. Like I happened to go to a single sex college, and obviously men were not allowed. And at first I thought, well, that's kind of negative and exclusive. And then I got there and I was like, wow, this is awesome. Because what happened is that I saw women connect and engage and interact with each other in a way that was different than I had witnessed with my interactions with women when men were around. Okay. And then there were other things that came up, like, right, once you took men out, there were like different dynamics on, for example, how either the women of color or the Latinas or the white women or the Asian women interacted with each other or within their own little circles, right? And what I'm trying to get at is not something to talk about like the whole larger issue of identity, but where in fact is your identity just not important? I mean, because there's a greater purpose and a larger group effort happening. Right? So you get these groups. So let's just say, for example, you had cancer and you walked into a room and you're going to that room or group as because you need support. And the biggest thing that draws you to that group is the fact that everybody has cancer. And you get a large, at least I get a large amount of a feeling of belonging and a feeling of caretaking and a feeling that I'm loved and that people understand, even if they feel differently. It's like, oh, they're going through the same thing as me. But then if we started to say things like, well, I'm a white cancer survivor, or I currently have cancer and I'm Asian, or I'm a man who had prostate cancer versus a woman who had breast cancer, wouldn't that in fact dilute the reason that the group is there in the first place? And so what I'm trying to say is that I look at this issue as important for personal purposes. And yes, there are repercussions on the larger and grander scale, especially around things like the use of like public restrooms and spaces that we've historically looked at as being male or female, right? When you are identifying, but you're not in fact biologically somebody different, or you are, and la 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 la, which I don't even want to get into that. But what I'm trying to say is that I look at them as two different things, because what I think is really, really important is to, like, when one enters these groups where identification is more important than identity, your identity, my identity as Nicole, as a middle-aged woman, as a white woman, as a person from New York, needs to like be left at the door in favor of the larger piece of identification with this specific group, especially when this group or community is a group I'm seeking out as a way to feel loved or belonging or supported, right? Because otherwise, if I go in there and I'm like, oh, well, it's about me and I identify like this and I feel this and I see that because I identify like this or that, it corrupts, if you want to call it. It weakens the atmosphere of the identification of the group, which I believe that that kind of identification is highly spiritual. It transcends things like labels. It transcends the problems that we're having in society, accepting these different labels, accepting people's different identities, right? So when you go into a group and you leave yourself at the door, or whatever you call yourself, however you act as yourself, and you come into the group to identify with this group in a larger purpose way, which is anytime a bunch of people are getting together to help each other, that's a larger purpose way. That's a bigger spiritual effort. That has a larger pull. It has larger push. It has larger energy in the cosmos, right? Because people are leaving their personal shit out and they're coming and they're going, I'm here to be with you, to be with the rest of you, to be together, right? And that's the power of identification. Like when someone's like, I have cancer. And everyone else in the room is like, yeah, I get it. I woke up and I felt yada, yada, yada today. Oh yeah, I get it. That's really, really important, right? We need more spaces where people are like, we're here together because, and if your identity is a way that you get together in a group in identifying, great, right? But when people start to mix up and they bring identity to groups that are sort of single purpose or groups of identification or support groups, it can get messy because they are two different things. This was what was on my mind on Friday. What can I say? I don't pick these things. They just come to me. Have a nice weekend. Ciao.